I want to be clear here. This is not a nice guy platform. So if there's any men that are new to my platform and you think that this channel is a safe haven for grown men to complain about what women are doing or the outcomes that you're receiving on the dating market, go find another podcast. My content is not for men who have a defeatist mindset. I don't care about what modern women are doing on the dating market. All I care is about what I'm going to do to help you all win on the dating market. Win. Because trust me, there are women out there who will give you exactly what you want. So if that seems like too much for you to handle, respectfully, get off my platform, because there will be no coddling here. I've already expressed my thoughts on black men who pander to black women. I think those men are the scum of the earth because they're smart enough to tell black women what they want to hear, and they're doing it at the expense of black relationships. Black women think that most men are protecting them from black men like me. But I'm the black man who protects black women from black men who pander. And black women won't realize that the truth is what you need to hear until it's too late. Get off the couch and move, because no one, including me, will care about your life outcomes more than you. That was a harsh but much needed lesson that I learned in the military. No one will care about your career more than you, which is why you have to do it yourself. Over here, we are not nice guys. We are good men who control our own destiny, no matter what biases that are formed against us. Lastly, I understand what you're going through. I don't understand why you're still there. Get up and go win. Go ahead and make sure you click that link, get you some Teej Hanley, and support the Media Man YouTube channel, and also support Teej Hanley.
How can I be sure that you'll be right for me? You say you'll die for me. Will you survive for me? Yeah. Take up some space. You're too far away. Make no mistake. Hey, I think you should stay here. I want every little bit. I ain't never seen it drip like this. Heaven at my fingertips. Let's not let a minute slip. Just say you have me. Oh, taste and see. Yeah, I hope you don't sleep on me. I've got good and plenty, yeah.
Allow me to show you something.
What up, though? Welcome back to another Medium Man Live on this great Friday. Happy Friday, the 1st of May. It is May, y'all. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate the support. Like I told you guys, I'm going to put a extra wrinkle into the content and allow folks to come up so we could talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about. We got nutrition, fitness, dating, relationships, whatever you want to talk about. I'll leave it open. But I won't, if there's nobody coming up, I won't stay open for too long. That's why I have a backup. And we're going to watch a segment of the Dear Future Wifey podcast where they had a conference. And some notable figures was on there. I seen Pastor John Gray on there. And they also had David Banner. He had an amazing part where he spoke in there. And then they also had, believe it or not, a reformed stripper. She was actually on the dais at this church, and she was telling her story. And then they have one of the actors, I'm pretty sure, Mona, you here. What up, Mona? I don't know if you watched the show Sisters. What's her name? KJ Smith. She's on there with her husband, who she met on set. And they had some great conversations as well. She is very extra. She is an actress. And it was a great conversation. But like I said, the link is in the chat, guys. So if you want to come up, ladies as well, if you want to come up, just go ahead and click the link and I'll allow you to get up here and we'll have a one-on-one discussion if you have any questions, comments, concerns, so to speak. And also to the moderators, please make sure you guys don't get these notable content creators. If you see a notable content creator that's trying to steal some shine on the platform, please let me know, because this is not for that. Those content creators know that they need to reach out to me via email and we can start talking money figures if you want to be on my show or you want me to be on your show. Okay. So if there's anybody that you guys see as a troll, if you see anybody that's one of these people that speak negatively about black men or black women, please let me know in the chat so I can get them up out of here once I put them up. But like I said, man, I want to keep the chat open and allow people to come up, because I haven't really done this before, only for the members. But if you want to come up, please let me know. And like I said, known people, that I know, Mona, my guy Theo Coop, Mr. Walker and them, the regulars. So yeah, if they come up, we can discuss a little bit, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But just let me know if anybody is trying to come up and you guys know them and like, oh, media men, they was calling black men Dusty. Let me know. Okay, let me see here. Mona D said, I used to watch Sisters for the first 2 seasons. Because I'm a funny story. One of my childhood friends, Mona, she's an actor. She's an actress, and she actually tried out for the show Sisters. She ended up getting in a couple other movies. I'm gonna have her on the show, but she has been in some notable TV shows that you guys have seen, and she actually tried out for that show. And I'm gonna have her up here to discuss. So that's why I started watching it, me and my wife, and we watched it for like the first 1 or 2 seasons. It was pretty good, but then it started getting crazy, with all the antics or whatever. But I think the first season was pretty good. It was pretty entertaining. So I recognized KJ Smith up there, and she actually did a good job. But yeah, it's gonna be a good conversation. So. Oh man, so it was good. Hold on, let me see here. Let me shout out Pooh Man. Thank you, Pooh Man, for being here, putting all the links in the description. My guy, always hooking it up, man. I don't have any work to do after Pooh Man put his spin on it and put everything in there. Appreciate it, good brother. Thank you. And we also got Dante Bryan with the first super chat, $5. Said, brother Double M, what up though? Peace and blessings, yo. And then we got Curtis Rose in the building with the 499 super chat. He said, "What's good? What up, though? What up, though?" Hold on, let me see here. Let me grab this real quick. Like I said, I'm gonna drop this. The link to join is pinned. So if you want to come up, come on up. Let's see here. Dante Bryan said, Ace of Metaphor said, men don't like women. Where'd that come from? What you give me some context to that, brother? Where'd that come from, Dante? Oh man, that's funny. What are we talking about? What's the context of that? Ace Metaphor said men don't like women. Okay. Did he put any statistics behind it? If it's some statistics behind it and it's something that I can debunk, fine. But if his opinion is men just don't like women, then so be it, man. I mean, it seemed like he been dibbling dabbling a lot of women. So for him to say men don't like women, you a man, brother. What you been doing? What you got going on up there? Dante Bryan, I'm waiting, man. That's funny. Yo, I'm waiting for Dante to put some context to that. That's a wild statement. What is this? Oh man, that's funny. I got my guy Benny from Boston in the building, 1999 super chat. What up, though? Good to see you here. Says sending you so you can buy an old fashioned and wash away your Lakers. Man, I don't even know what to tell you. I ain't spoke about it since a couple of days ago. I ain't said shit about it. My friends been sitting there, trolling and sending videos of Anthony Edwards walking down the LA streets talking mess. But I like Anthony Edwards, man. I just didn't expect the Lakers to go out like we did. But it is what it is, man. So on to the next. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't have my cake and eat it too. The Dodgers won the World Series. So, I mean, I guess karma is the Lakers got to get bounced. So, yeah, I'm going to continue to watch the playoffs because I enjoy ball. So, yes, not my first love. Baseball is actually my first love. My second love is definitely basketball. So, let's see here. Okay, what Dante Bryan saying? He said men don't like women outside of sex on Cam Newton's show. But he's a man. Okay. All right, man. That's the pander thing. I mean, you expect that from that brother. You know what I'm saying? All the hot water that he been in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that woman, forgot her name, Keita Roses. She was making some wild accusations about the brother. I don't wish that, I mean, I don't think most of that stuff was true, but that's what you get when you hang around those types of women. So I don't expect anything else from Ace Metaphor, man. It is what it is, brother. So yeah. Oh, this was funny. Let me show y'all this picture real quick. And I want to ask y'all a question. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me share the screen real quick. All right. Have y'all seen these little pictures going around? Y'all see this? So there are women on multiple platforms and pages, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and they're sharing these two pictures: the toxic boyfriend starter kit and the sneaky leak starter kit. And there's thousands of women that can relate to these types of dudes. And they're trying to spin it as these dudes are trash, they dusty, but both of those guys have one thing in common. They both sneaking in. So who's losing? Who's really losing? Are the women telling on themselves? Are they telling on guys like this? Because I can tell you now, look, this guy is labeled the toxic boyfriend. What's required for him to be a boyfriend, a girlfriend? So that means he laid up in your house. I see the Cash App. I see, what is this? Honey Pack, PlayStation controller. Is that some Crown Royal? Phone on Do Not Disturb. Some tweed. Communication skills not included. The brother, I mean, so it's like I'm asking the question. I'm asking ladies like y'all sharing this. Like this is a bad look for guys like this. No, if that's your boyfriend, and from what I gather, it seemed like he just laying up in your house playing video games. So who looks worse, him or you? The thousands of women that can relate to this type of guy. Why is that? Why is this guy in your house, man? Why do you have a toxic boyfriend and he's allowed to lay up in your house and not contribute anything? And then y'all post this on social media to try and shame men. But it's like, man, thousands of y'all are saying you can relate to this guy. Think about it. If you saying that he's unworthy of submission and you don't respect him, but he able to sneak in, he'll take that deal. I'm serious. He will take that deal. Right? And then the sneaky link guy, we know this dude exists. He got the slides. I see a honey pack, 7 missed calls. You know what I'm saying? Eat his Doritos, got the Uber going on, Cash App. You know what I'm saying? He come over in the sweats. He just ready to get to it. So all you got to do is slide through and he good to go. So I don't know who y'all trying to shame. This is actually a gift for guys. I don't understand. Was this supposed to shame men? It's just showing how low standards some of y'all have, especially for the toxic boyfriend guy. I understand the sneaky link dude. It is what it is. But for the toxic boyfriend to be laid up in your house with a white tank on, I'm trying to be politically correct with the terminology on that. But yeah, but both of these guys sneaking in, so they happy. And I remember I shared a video of Desi Banks where he did a skit with a young lady where he was that type of guy, the toxic boyfriend. He was sitting at home, smoking weed, playing video games, eating up all the food, and she was mad at him. When you gonna get a job? And he was like, I'm gonna go get a job. And he's sitting there talking to Pale on the phone, and she all, corporate woman going to work, and she just screaming and yelling at him. But then at the end of the skit, they coming up out the room, and he got her robe on. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You go, hey, let me in. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to go make you some breakfast. And it's like, he wins. Those types of dudes will do that with multiple women because they know y'all weak. So when you share stuff like this, it's kind of like y'all telling on yourselves. Because these types of guys, if you say that you're an upstanding woman, a quote unquote good woman, then these guys shouldn't get access to you, right? But if you don't mind these types of guys, just be honest. Admit it. Be like, yo, this is what I'm about right now. I'm not ready to be nobody's wife, so I'm going to go ahead and sneak around with the sneaking link. I'm going to have me a toxic boyfriend to lay up because I can feel superior to him. I can talk any which way that I want to him. He ain't going to do nothing. I can put him out. He going to come back in. And when he come back in, he going to sneak in. And he probably know how to hit that spot. He make you tingle. I get it. Just be honest. We all know it's women out there that exist like that. It's cool. You ain't fooling us. When you get on social media and say, oh my God, these guys are the worst. We know that you're talking about yourself. If a guy been on the dating market, we know the game. Y'all ain't Saint Mary or something like that. I don't do stuff like that. Okay. I love it, man. I love it. Ain't nothing but saints on social media. Let me see. Truth Dude to that super chat said, Media Man, what up? Peace to the chat. What up, though? Damn, yeah, Mona, it's like, damn, just be honest. Just be honest. Don't try to downplay them online, but that's how you really get down. Yeah, it's like we all grown here. We know we can all understand that a good marriage is far more beneficial than running around in the streets. We get it. We understand it. It is what it is. But we all know that a lot of people ain't going to get married. And some of these people are just going to linger around on the dating market and they're going to do what they want to do. Useful to the group. And that's for both men and women. Women call these types of guys community D, right? You know what I'm saying? Over here, we call women like that useful to the group. Some of y'all going to fall into that category and just be honest with it. And I think it was funny. It may have been Amber Rose or something like that. If y'all correct me if I'm wrong or give the correct credit to the woman that said it. She said, was it a woman? It was somebody. Somebody said, hoes just want to hoe in peace, in silence, in private. They don't want it out there in the public. So I get it. If you get on social media and you got a platform and you got to be pristine and say that you didn't move like that, cool. You just want to hold in silence. And that's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But don't sit there and try and begrudge everybody else for doing what you're doing behind the scenes. Just embrace it. Embrace the suck, both literally and figuratively. Pause. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. We grown here. I mean, I've been honest. I was running around. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, that military though. You in the Air Force, you know what I'm saying? And you traveling every place. You know what I'm saying? You in the gym, and you get to it. So, but now I'm saved now, which brings us to the Dear Future Wifey show. Y'all see how I did that? Saved. Young men. I was finna go down that same road where you get guys on these podcast shows and they'll be like, young men, don't be going out there trying to sneak in with every woman that you see. And the dude that's goes, well, did you do that when you was young? Well, yeah. You know, I was a player back in the day. That's why I could get on here and talk about this data stuff because I ran through a gang of them. But you don't do that. I love when dudes do that, man. That should be hilarious. Like, yeah, y'all need to settle down and find a wife. Like, brother, we know the game. You was in it. I was in it. I protected myself. I got married when I was supposed to get married. You know, I had my kid within wedlock. Had one buckaroo, protected myself for the rest of the time that I was on the dating market after my divorce. So it is what it is. If that's your goal to be celibate, I will support you, brother, 100%. But I already told you, when I was in my monk mode, I wanted to sneak in. And I became honest with these women. I wasn't going on some hiatus where I just swore off women and I'm going to just focus on my studies. No, I could do both. I needed some cheeks. It's not me. It's not me, baby. So, all right. So let's go monk mode with a, you know, some. Let me stop. Almost got myself in trouble. All right. Let me see. I missed a super chat. William K. Jones, what up though? 499 super chat said about to head to the gym. Enjoy the live media, man, and chat. Hit that like button. All right. Thank you, brother. And get your workout on. Let's see here. All right. So let's pull up this Dear Future Wifey. So the intro was pretty long. So I stopped it right at the 53-minute mark so we can get to the meat of the conversation. Pause. So yeah. So it's going to start, I believe, who was first up? It was a young woman who I'm not familiar with, but she seems accomplished. She seems Christian-y, if that's a word that I'm going to make up. But you guys, you see. So shouts out to Latarius Whitfield. He's actually, it's funny, he's actually under fire because Black women are blaming him for what his guests are saying on his podcast. Ironic. It's crazy to me because Dear Future Wifey, you know, the whole podcast, this has been his premise since he started the podcast, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. The brother got 600,000 plus subscribers, and he already said the majority of them are Black women. So to see Black women mad at this guy is absolutely insane to me. And I will show you why, because one of the guests, and I put this video up so you guys could check it out. Hold on, let me find it real quick. I'm going to send this to before we get into that, let me show you why they mad. This is funny. Hold on. We got 39 folks in the building. So yeah, this is going to be a good review. Hold on. It's coming up. Oh, come on. This ain't Saratoga, not Ashton Hall. Let me see here. Show and Finder. Here we go. Let me bring that up. Bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. All right, here we go. So I put this video together because there was a woman on there that was very loud and wrong. Let's see here. Here we go.
I was still walking according to my preference. I liked light-skinned, long hair, petite models, you know, all that crazy nonsense. I like what I like.
Though it's called Dear Future Wifey, It is a humiliation ritual for Christian women. Men jump on here boldly and with their whole chest talk about how they settled for their wives. What he has never featured on his podcast is a woman giving an hour-long interview about the many ways she dogged her husband out, but how God came in, changed her heart, and they have a beautiful love story.
And then how long did it take for him to find knowledge about it?
Oh no, that it was immediate.
Yeah.
Because it was convicting. Like I was convicted. Like I was like, I cannot hold that. Like I called him immediately, and we were both in tears.
So you called him immediately. I want to put a reference around it. Immediately, like what? The next day?
No, like that day, that night.
So you slept with this guy, and then you called your husband up and told him.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Imagine she just got piped down. And the first thing that she does is call her husband. Oh. 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 Somebody called me out for putting that GTA ending, because if y'all didn't know now, before GTA pushed back the release date, GTA 6 is going to come out May 26, 2026, which is nuts. I was pissed off about that. But yeah, so y'all seen what happened. The girl on TikTok made this video, and she was saying that Lateris has never had a woman up there talking about the ways that she did her husband wrong. This couple right here, and I forgot their names, forgive me, but I want to give them credit. But their, interview was about 2 hours long. And that woman, her whole social media presence is based around her experiences after cheating on her husband. Seriously. And if I find her name, I'm going to put it in when I clip this up, I'm going to put it up here. But yes, her whole social media presence is about how she built herself back up and how their marriage is so great after she snuck in with a dude, and then immediately after she called her husband. Y'all got to hear the story. I did a review on it in 2023. There's 2 parts to it. Her first part, and then the guy and how he reacted, right? So, yeah, the woman on TikTok was absolutely wrong. He's had multiple people come up there and talk about the crazy stuff that they did to their husbands or their boyfriends and vice versa. But just to see black women turning on Lateris Whitfield when he's like literally one of y'all biggest supporters is absolutely insane to me. They're saying defund the Dear Future Wifey podcast. But I will say this, and I actually was probably one of the first ones to talk about this when he interviewed Kendra G, where I was like, man, is it the fact that he's not ready, Lateris is not ready to get married, or he just can't find a suitable woman out of the millions of women that he has contact with? Because if you have 600,000 subscribers on YouTube, I would imagine that 500,000 of those are women. And then of that 500,000, the majority of them are black women, because he has to marry a black woman. He cannot marry anything else. Black women support his platform too much for him to go out there and find some white woman. Or if he goes to Brazil or Africa, because that's going to even look crazy. He needs to find an American black woman or they won't accept him. That's not me saying that. I just know how black women feel about black men who cater their content towards them, right? So yeah, so I was discussing this. I was like, damn, man, so what does that say about the women in the church? And I mentioned this when we were doing the review of the Short King Ambassador on the Pop the Balloon show. He was a church going guy, God-fearing guy. But I asked a question in the video. I was like, man, if you so into the church, why can't you find a woman in the church? So that's why these things need to be discussed. And that's why I like reviewing the Dear Future Wifey videos, because these are Christian people and they literally have the same problems as people in the secular dating market. And I try and, give you guys a window into, are basically saying that, hey man, they going through it too. So if Lateris can't find a woman in the church, out of all the thousands of women that's trying to come at him, and then you got the guy on Pop the Balloon, and he going to the church Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and he still can't find a woman to the point that he got to go and pop the balloon. Something needs to be discussed. Don't y'all think? In the church, it's like, man, what the hell going on? If it's far more black women in the black churches, why aren't these the small percentage of black men that are going to church? Why can't they find a man or a woman? Why can't they find a woman? And that's funny. They probably could find a man. That was wrong of me. My apologies. Y'all don't take that wrong. That's funny. But yeah, so I mean, it should be easy. I mean, but yeah, we need to look into it. But like I said, that's why we're going to continue reviewing these Dear Future Wifey shows, because Christian folks have the same issues as people on the regular dating market do. Oh, let me bring this up. Let's see here. Did I miss a super chat? Yeah. I don't know if I got this. Dante Bryant, $5 super chat, says she's always loud and wrong. She gets on my dang nerves. Don't be talking about nothing. I don't know who the hell that is. I just seen the video and I was like, man, this is crazy, because they don't watch enough of the content to understand. And you want to paint women as a victim. And it's funny, the woman seems happy up there. She, if y'all watched the video, was watching the video, she was like co-signing this story. Like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. He didn't tell her to do that. If they like it, I love it. So Air Force Reek, $5 just said, calling your husband with fresh baby gravy on you is egregious. Lord have mercy. Yeah, it's wild work, man. Like, can you just imagine that? What if that was a movie? That could be like Best Man 3 or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they show a scene of your wife getting snuck into, and then as soon as she get off the pipe, she call your ass. Babe, I got something to tell you. I just let a man slide in. How you gonna react to that? He just slid in. What I'm gonna do? Yo, it's so funny. Social media, man. HVAC man, $5 super chat. So in other words, if you don't do what black women say and they are your audience, your days are numbered and they about to cut your funny. Bro, I made a whole video about this. I was like, man, I pray for people who rely on their predominantly black woman platforms, because you have to stay in a particular box, especially for the black men. And I know we talk about panders a lot, and we know that, I do not like those types of guys, but I don't think they understand the restrictions that they have on their dating market and how detrimental it is to their platforms. Because if they don't pick the right woman, then black women are going to have an issue with that. Hell, we about to listen to David Banner speak. David Banner, like I said, or like he said that he stopped dating a woman because she didn't look black. She was half black and something else. And he was like, yeah, I stopped dating her because I know that she wouldn't have been accepted by black women in the black community. So it's tough, man. So I don't think panders understand the restraints that they have on their dating preferences, especially Lateris. If you don't, man, it's a problem for you, brother. You come up there with a light-skinned woman or something that's not black, it's a problem. They may give you a pass if she's light-skinned, bro. You're gonna be ass out. So, oh man, let me see here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this up. Let me wait, I stop screen. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna make sure we get to it. This is Dear Future Wifey, and he had a conference with a bunch of notable figures. They will introduce themselves here in a second, but you guys will definitely enjoy this. Make sure you like the video. We got 57 folks in here. Like the video on your way in. Why is that coming up black? I'll remove that. All right, here we Go. Fair use. Fair use.
Like the guys that you come across, they're. Let me ask you, what is your viewpoint of this dating landscape that we have today with your experience?
I hear a lot of crazy stories. I will say that. And
Okay, so let me, and I don't feel right not giving this young woman credit here before she starts speaking. This is, let me see here. Arian Simone. Arian Simone. Fair use, fair use. If you, I don't know if Mona, you may know who this is. I'm not sure, but she's gonna, I guess, let us know some of her accolades here in a second. But this is Arian Simone, Arian, and this is the 5-year anniversary for Dear Future Wifey, and it was a special episode. It was actually released 5 days ago. Okay, her name is Arian Simone. Here we go.
I do believe their stories are real. I do believe that I have dated a lot of great men. I do, but I have girlfriends. I was just leaving a house and she said, "Can you take so-and-so with you? Because you always find good men." So I do believe there are great men out there, but I do hear these stories and I do believe them.
You don't find a lot of men who are intimidated by your success?
Watch this. I like this answer, and I've been saying this all along for a long time. He asked her, do you find men are intimidated by your success? Listen to her answer.
Yeah.
And how does that typically show up while they're dating you?
It can show up in the most odd ways because it doesn't always show up in the beginning. It will show up in places of trigger and trauma. And that's when I'll see it.
How do you, this is my last question to you so I can get off of you. How do you balance being what's considered a boss lady in the workplace and then being, let me ask you, does the word submissive scare you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So how do you balance being a boss lady in the workplace and operating in femininity and submissiveness at home?
I show up in my femininity in the workplace though too.
Teach, unpack that.
I believe that when the masculine and the feminine are combined, that's when you have reproduction and that's when you have something powerful. So if I were to show up in the workplace masculine, then I would be failing to reproduce.
Come on, Arian.
Okay, so basically what she's saying, and one of the biggest issues that I have with the feminist movement is those women, they make it seem like femininity is associated with being weak, and that's absolutely false. There's a lot of power in being feminine or femininity, feminine woman, and she just explained that. Like, why do I have to be a masculine man at work, and then I got to be a masculine woman at home? She said I show up feminine all the time, which is essentially what women are supposed to do. Now, granted, this woman is still dating. She said that some of the guys that she dealt with had an issue or were insecure about her success. But she also did mention that she has some good examples of men when she was on the dating market. So it is what it is. So it seems like she's in a good space. She's not jaded. She's optimistic from what I gather. And her answer of saying like, hey, man, I don't change. If I'm feminine at home, I'm feminine at work too. That don't mean that you can't get, the outcomes that you desire. Obviously, she's doing well for herself. So she's doing something right. Okay. So let's continue.
But it's
Come
true.
on, sis, that FAMU education.
But it is true. And it's just the way of the world and the way of nature.
So good.
The bees understand it. The lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, understand it.
Watch it.
It's for us to understand too. That is how you show up in your greatness. So no, I don't have to balance that between the two because I'm that all the time.
Well, amen, man. That's what I'm talking about. Arian Simone is in the building.
Hey, Lataris, I love that you asked this woman of power about the idea of submission because I've, in
This is Pastor John Gray.
moments of immaturity in my marriage, when we had disagreements, I'm like, I need you to submit. I need you to submit. She was like, well, what's the plan? So the lesson is she can't sub if there's no mission.
Okay, so and I like that point, you know, in regards to, you know, asking women submission. You already know my thoughts about that. I despise when I see grown black men on panel shows telling black women to submit or asking black women to submit. Bro, that's not your job. If you show up as a healed and whole man, the right woman will submit willingly, bro. I promise you. So if you have to fight with the woman to submit to you, then that's not the woman for you, bro. Seriously. And this is not me trying to be you know, against some of the teachings that you guys have in these spaces. It's just how I always felt. I'm not going to sit there and try and prove to some woman that I'm worth submitting to. The way I walk, the way I talk, my accomplishments, they speak for themselves. The way I'm healed, all this type of stuff. And y'all should be the same way. So if you ever get into an argument with a woman and you asking her to submit or you ain't doing right, like Pastor John Gray said, it's a problem. And you need to fix it. It's not on her to fix it. If you don't mind being disrespected in your household from a woman who's saying that she's not going to submit to you, then that's your problem. You got to do something about it. Okay? Let me get the super chats. HVAC man, $2 super chat said, I swear these dudes lost their nuts. All right, let's get to it, man. I mean, I know Pastor John Gray has been into some allegations out there. The brother been wilding a little bit. His wife was right there. So I don't want to disrespect the man that is a pastor. So I'm going to let him cook. But I am going to, if he say something wild, I'm going to call him out. Because I think he's going to try and blame the men a little bit. You know, we're going to talk about it. So here we go.
And the truth is, many women who are powerful at the workplace actually want to come home and be a softer and tender expression of themselves. They're looking for a man to take the lead.
So again, and that goes against what the first young lady said, Arian. If he's saying that they're looking to be soft, that's not a man's job. I done told y'all that multiple times. No matter what a man is doing, that should not take a woman out of her femininity. So if a woman is showing up at your house after work and she's still acting crazy, masculine, as y'all like to say, that's her problem. Okay? You as a man aren't going to fix that. If she ain't feminine already, it's curtains for you, bruh. Seriously. Because a truly feminine woman ain't going to be with a man that she can't submit to. I promise y'all. Okay? So if there's some type of negotiation about that, y'all need to rethink some shit. Somebody needs to lead that relationship because that ain't how things supposed to work. And again, shout out to Fresh and Fit Myron. He was saying like, man, how would it look like, man, I need a woman to be feminine so I can show up in my masculine. That sounds crazy. Okay, and it's the same way for women. Don't let them get away with that. So I understand what Pastor John Gray is trying to say, but a woman shouldn't have to be trying to do anything. Especially when it comes to femininity. That's what you're supposed to be in the first place. It ain't got nothing to do with a man. Okay? Goodness.
And I believe that if men get in their proper position and allow the women to be free, to be their full selves, they will see the things. And you won't have to ask her to submit. She'll be glad to do it because she sees you leading in a way that honors her, covers her, and celebrates her.
So, and like I said, I agree with that. That's exactly what I was saying, Pastor John Gray. I agree with that point. Okay? First thing that guys need to do is work on yourselves. Become the best version of yourself. And you will attract the type of women that you want. Okay? Not only the women that you can get. I said the best version of yourself. Didn't say anything about becoming a millionaire. Didn't say anything about becoming a high earning or whatever type of man y'all want to call it. Just the best version of yourself. Keep improving. Do what you need to do. And know when when you content, and make little, corrections here and there, but build something for yourself before you go out there trying to look for a woman. Okay? Especially if you're trying to settle down. All right? Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
I do want to add, my wife talked about all the areas where she dances. She forgot that she is a twerker as well. And I am grateful I am grateful.
Look, his wife. Hey, man, don't be telling that, brother. Don't be telling your wife secrets. Let her twerk in peace.
For that.
And see, now I know why I'm here.
Yes!
And see, now I know why I'm here.
Teacher.
Please understand.
Let me ask you, Rick.
I'm so grateful.
Rick is grateful. So as a single man, let me ask you, are you single?
No. I have a beautiful woman right there. Her name is Brittany.
You're not married.
I'm not married.
You're not married.
I'm not married as of yet.
So from a governmental status, you still
I
single?
am single.
You are single. Hey, man,
Yes.
trying to be all deep, you still single.
Okay, so this gentleman right here, his name is Rick Applewhite. Rick Applewhite. And bear with me, guys. I mean, I'm still learning the ways of the Bible. Sometimes these Christian folk, they start speaking Christianese, and it's hard to translate. Maybe y'all can, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Fair use. Let's get to it.
Single. When you file your taxes,
Hey, I had to make sure the conversation was good later.
I know, in trouble. Yeah, about to be in trouble. You're talking about, yeah, I'm single. She's like, oh, you are tonight. You are tonight. So let me tell you this. What made you decide, well, how long have you ever been married before?
Yes, I have.
And how long were you married the first time?
I was married for 8 years.
How long have you been single?
Been single for about 4 years.
What made you decide to do it again? What made you decide to give love a chance? A lot of times when men come out of a broken marriage, they get gun shy when it comes to marriage. So what made you decide to say, you know what? Well, first of all, are you planning on marrying this woman? I want to put you out.
Of course.
Okay, all right.
That's for sure.
All right. Amen. So that's for sure. All right.
Hey, you better say that. Your girl right there in the crowd, and you around these good church folks. You better say the plan is marriage.
And so what made you decide to marry this woman?
Well, one thing is I wasn't gun shy about love because I know God is love. So I knew that what I was gun shy about my own maturity. So I had to grow through things in my first marriage that I ended up running out the door because I didn't have the understanding or the coping mechanisms to be able to be a good husband.
Hey, you know what's, man, and I wish I would have had time to clip myself up in there, but I told y'all that when I got married the first time, I was not ready to be a husband. I told you my experience or my thoughts about marriage was centered around wanting someone to be there after I got home from a deployment. Because like I told you guys, when I first joined the military, I started in 1999. I know this for the young folks, they're like, damn, that's a long time ago. 1999, May 1999 is when I joined the Air Force. I went through all of my schooling. I got to my first base, Bill Air Force Base, in I want to say October or November. And I went to Desert Warfare training in December of 2099. Desert Warfare training was at Indian Springs, Nevada. It was called Silver Flag Alpha. If you are familiar with the Air Force, you know what I'm talking about. Indian Springs, Nevada. I was out there for 2 weeks, Desert Warfare training. I was on a plane to Kuwait for my first deployment in 2000, January 2000. And we stayed there until April 2000. Okay? So I was fresh out. I ain't even been in the military for a year, and I was already deploying. I got back. I think I trained for a little bit, and I went back on a deployment. And every time we would come back, we'd always see like people who were married. Their family members used to be on the tarmac once we got off the airplane, and they would greet them. It was just like one of those welcome home type things. And I was like, damn, man, I'm tired of wasting all of my deployment money on strip clubs and stuff like that. I was like, man, I want that, and that was like my only reason why I got married. Luckily enough, my daughter's mother, beautiful woman. I don't blame her for anything. It was my fault that I got married so young, and I fully didn't know what it meant to be a husband. Didn't know anything about it. Okay. So what he's saying, I actually resonate. It sounds, exactly like my experience. And it takes a lot to admit certain things like that, going to therapy, first step that I had to do was admit to my ex-wife that, hey, it was not your fault. It was all me. I wasn't prepared to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? And I wish I really would have took my time. But the blessing that I got out of it is my daughter is here. Okay? So, yeah, so this is nothing to be ashamed of, guys. If you've been through the same situation, hey, go talk it out. I just got a platform where I can say this publicly, and I don't mind. Okay? I was a young dude. But, yeah, I resonate with that. Let's continue. Fair use.
So I had to peel back the onion and say, Ricky, do you really want to grow? And I challenged myself, and by challenging myself, it allowed me to say, I can love this woman. By challenging myself, it allowed me to say that I can grow with her. By loving myself and growing within myself, it allowed me to say that I am comfortable leading again. Because when you lead to a place that you've never been at, what's going to happen? So I was able to grow and get the maturity that was necessary. And I'm not there yet. I want to say I'm not there yet. She probably could raise her hand right now. Like, I'm praying for you right now. I'm not there yet, but what I am is I'm searching for God in the.
So essentially what he just did there, I don't know if you guys caught that, he's somewhat bought himself some time, because I don't think he's ready to get married right now, but his intention is to marry that woman. But him saying I'm not ready right now, or I'm not whole, or whatever, Christian terminology that he used, yeah, that essentially bought him some time. So I think he has good intentions, but it's good for men to be honest about what they want in these relationships. And I've said this multiple times. You can be honest with yourself and say that you are not ready to be a husband. That's perfectly fine. And that's why I like listening to David Banner. He's going to bring all of this full circle, because when I hear him speak, it just validates everything that I've been saying leading up to this point. Telling guys, you could be honest with yourself. Hell, have you heard how women talk about, man, I just don't want to be a wife, or I ain't ready to be a wife? You could do the same thing. And like I said, the only reason why we discuss these topics is because we on social media. Once we log off, you're going to do what the hell you want to do, bro. So if you got some reservations about how people going to view you, if you say that I'm not ready to be a husband right now, so what? Who going to be there when you go back to your house? Are they going to not let you in your own home and say, hey, man, you need to get married? No, just do what you need to do. Who cares? All right. Let's continue. Fair use.
The midst of us, and I will keep that search for the rest of my life.
So how can you admit, when you say I'm not there yet, give language behind that?
See?
Why do you say you're not there yet? What is there? Where is there?
Well, there is inexhaustible. It's Alpha and Omega. I would never arrive. But what I will do is I will reach towards the prize of the high calling of the Lord Jesus Christ. I will reach towards that.
See, that, like I said, y'all probably heavily in the church more than me. I can't understand what he's saying. It sounds good. The crowd is cheering, but what he's saying is not, it's I guess it's not tangible. I can't quantify it. And, my logical brain is very tough, and I'm trying to get better at this to understand Christian lingo. But what he's saying, it sounds good to the Christian audience, but I don't understand. Okay?
So I never want to have an understanding that I am there. I always want to have an understanding that I am reaching, I'm striving, I'm thirsting for more. And what that allows for me to do is it allows for me to stay humble, but it also allows for me to operate in obedience.
See? So did that answer the question? All Lateris asked him was, what does it mean when you say I'm not there yet? A tangible answer would be like, hey, I need to save up a little bit more money so we can buy this house. I need to make sure that, I get my mental health in check. So I've been going to therapy 2 times a week, or 1 time a week, 2 times each month, something like that. That's tangible to me. But when these Christian platforms, they can say these types of things and people will just clap. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. You striving, you thriving, but I don't get it. So let's see. HVAC Man 2 super chat said these new Christians are simps. What is he saying? Hey, I appreciate the super chat, man, but let's keep the insults to a minimum. because like I said, man, we don't know these folks. And, you know, the only people that I know really is David Banner, John Gray, Pastor John Gray, and also Lateris Whitfield. These are the folks we don't know, man. So keep your comments. That's cool. But again, respect folks' religion and just keep the insults to yourselves. All right. Let's continue.
So when I say I'm not there, I will never be there until I'm there. And then when I'm there, then I won't be there. You know, God is amazing. So
did you hear that? See, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody translate. Hold on. Let's go back. Listen to that. That was good.
Have an understanding that I am there. I always want to have an understanding that I am reaching, I'm striving, I'm thirsting for more. And what that allows for me to do is it allows for me to stay humble, but it also allows for me to operate in obedience. So when I say I'm not there, I will never be there until I'm there. And then when I'm there, then I won't be there. You know, God is amazing. So
and he ended up, God is amazing, you know. That was so good. That's what I'm talking about, man. These Christian folks, man, they are good with their verbiage, their wording, man. That was good on him.
He consistently stretches me just like he does each and every one of us so that he can maximize our potential.
So how did you?
You know, he sound like Damon Wayans' character on Living Color. You know, the Muslim guy that was in prison. You know what I'm saying? Because when I evacuate my facilities, the testicular fortitude is gonna. That's what he sound like, man. That was good.
Approach her when you saw her. Do you believe in dating multiple women until you find the one, or are you the type that you sit, because you sound real deep, are you the type that sit back and say, God, I need you to reveal to me who this woman of God is, and then he says it's her? Is that you? Is that you, Rick? See, I knew it.
There you go.
Let me stop.
You was doing that at the dinner table.
No. In all actuality, that was I've had a number of different lives. That life, it was for my first wife, but then for my after I got divorced, you know, your boy was in Vegas. You know, I was everywhere, just partying, Miami, taking trips to Jamaica, just living life and not necessarily.
So yeah, so essentially what he's saying is he was running around. That's exactly what I said. He was running around. It is what it is. And he came out strong, brother. He was out there. Fair use.
Necessarily doing the things that will please God. But when I saw her, we were at a thing called Mad Mals in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Do y'all know what that is? Mad Mals in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mad Mals. Sounds fun.
Oh, you all familiar with it? Okay, let's run together. When I was out there, she seen me and I seen her, and it happened to be a coincidence that her friend was talking to one of my friends. And then with that happening, she saw me and she's like, "You mind if I say this, babe?" She was like, "You sexy."
Hey.
And I was like, "You sexy too."
There it is.
And from that, she just began to just speak to me, and I saw God coaching me through her, and I saw that early.
Hold on, unpack that, because I love that. You said you saw God coach you.
Yes, I want to know what that means. Come on, give us something.
Explain what that looks like, because sometimes we say stuff in Christianese that go over people's head.
There you go. Thank you, Lateris. Christianese. Now y'all get it? That's what I'm talking about. Maybe you watched one of my old videos that I reviewed him and he mentioned that. Because none of us, we not understanding it. Like, we not understanding what's going on. All right, let's get to it.
So I want to know, what does that look like? It sounds great. It could be a title of a book, but what does that really mean?
It means that I have to have accountability. She keeps me accountable even when I don't want to hear it. We just had a dinner the other night, and she was keeping me accountable on certain things. And you know, men, sometimes we don't necessarily want to hear it because we're working, we're trying to move things forward. And she keeps me accountable when I don't want to be accountable, but yet my love for her allows for me to be accountable.
See, I swear I be trying to work with Christian folks, man. You got to make this more palatable to people who don't speak Christianese. It's just tough, man. I'm trying to translate, but I can't do much.
And then I try to make sure that I understand her more, but I try to make sure that I understand God in the midst of us. And that is the premises of that, is that I had to unpack my own emotions of having parents that died within 1 year.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Having friends and family that pass away. Being from Chicago, we have a lot of trauma. And with that trauma, I had to really realize that I was a walking hurt man. And I was in bondage to my past. And I was in bondage to my present. The only thing that set me free was my future. And
see, it sounds so good. I was in bondage in my past, and I was in bondage in my present, and the only thing that saw me through was my future. I mean, I'm not knocking. I you know, and I'm gonna bring this to some of my. I'm a Christian, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know the Bible as well as, you know, probably all of them folks up there, man. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I still got my daily reader, where I'm learning. I got my Bible app where I have to read a new scripture every morning. It pops up and I read it, and I make sure I try and do that. So I'm not as educated, but some of this stuff, if y'all want to get more people into the church, you got to convey the messages a little bit better, because anything can sound good when you have an audience full of people that's trying to get a message from what you're saying. But if it's for the average person, if we're listening to it, we can't really understand what you're exactly trying to say. It's just tough, man. It's just tough. What I'm going to say. He said a bunch of nothing. The audience, and the audience cheering and stuff. I'm like, man, it's tough. All right, fair use.
that was the Holy Spirit.
That's good. Good. Last question.
See, and Tara's like, that's good. Nobody knows.
Do you believe that? How long have you been dating her?
It's been about 2 years.
Do you believe that men marry the right one or the right time?
Oh, that's a good question. What y'all think in the chat? Do men marry the right one or the right one at the time? I get what he's trying to say. He's basically saying that when men get done running around, whatever woman is near, and when he's ready to settle down, then that's the woman that he'll marry. That's good. Okay.
Let's hear. I ain't trying to start nothing, Pastor Gray. I'm sorry. Hey, I just asked a question.
HVAC man said, honestly, right time. Okay.
I'm just asking the question, Pastor Gray.
We have time, choices, and opportunity. If any one of those are off, it can throw off the entire relationship.
What does that mean, brother? What's his brother? Hold on. Let me get his name, man. I said it. Rick, Mr. Applewhite. What does that mean, man? Some folks trying to learn here, man. Come on, man. Let's get to it. I mean, I know you're trying to sound biblical, but come on, brother. Give us something, man.
So when I look at being timely and then making a decision for the right one and then actually having that opportunity, those things have to align, because a great person, what do you say? If you have a tool and you use it incorrectly, that's abuse. So I want to make sure that.
No, it's not. If you have a tool and you use it incorrectly, that's what? All right.
You have to have those three things in concert together, because if you do, then the okay person could be the best person. But in the same token, you can end up getting yourself into a wrong situation if you try to jump the gun on one of those. So you have to allow that time to just play out. But yeah, I've been approached with about 4 wrong ones.
So he's wrong, 4 wrong ones. He's talking about women. Prior to meeting this young lady here that he's that's in the front row, he said he met 4 wrong ones. Okay.
And I knew it because I went back to prayer, and then God said, that ain't it. That's not it. They don't coach you to be, they don't help you to be better. She's not my coach, but what the God in her sharpens me.
See, and it, like I said, and it sounds good because you know, the God, and I'm a firm believer of God. I pray multiple times a day for people, that I see on the street or something like that. But when you say things like that, man, that's nothing that people can really understand. And that's the whole problem with these types of conversations. It's like, if you've been through 4 women, and you may be the common denominator, but this may be the one, brother. So yeah, it's tough, man. God, dog. Zozo, what up, though? Medium man, that man dating that woman for 2 years. Trust me, they are not celibate, and there is not anything being done in faith in their relationship. Yeah, and I think King Porter, we assume that we know these people ain't up there all celibate and abstinent. So, so yeah, 2 years and they sleeping in the same bed. Nah, it ain't none of that. So yeah, and I'm trying to give these people as much respect as possible. So I get what you're saying, man. All right.
That part. Dr. Miles Monroe says, when the purpose of a thing is unknown, abuse is inevitable. And so I truly understand what you're.
All right, let me get this super chat. John Doe, 499, who just said this conversation is not a representation of what church is all about. This is a reflection of the liberal crap that has corrupted the church. Okay. Appreciate that, brother.
You're saying in that. Are y'all engaged?
Well, this is
nah, he ain't ready, man. He ain't ready.
This is it. I was looking at hey. I'm a man of vision and purpose. I know what I'm going to do. I was looking at it, so that will be happening very soon, but I cannot let the cat out the bag.
I told you guys he was buying himself some time, and they pressing him like, man, are y'all engaged? He's not ready yet.
Always. That's good. So keep that energy. I love it. It. Tiara.
Here we go.
When I met Tiara,
y'all gonna love this one.
I was glad I didn't know who she was.
And what Later's just said, it's gonna make sense here in a second. Because I'm glad I didn't know who this woman was. And for any of y'all who do know who this woman is, go pray a little bit. So
oh God, my Lord.
I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Because I met her and they was like, you don't know what that is? I said, no, am I supposed to know? They said, it depends. It depends. I said, well, I don't know what she was. And so she was the queen of King of Diamonds.
The queen of King of Diamonds. From what the rappers tell me, King of Diamonds is a strip club. Y'all know this? So who do y'all, I would love to see, before we say who this woman is, I would love for somebody to guess who was the king of Queen of Diamonds. Who is that? What's her name? What is that woman's name? Anybody know in the chat? Before I give you 10 seconds to type it in there before we go on. I would love to hear a name. Let me see. Nobody? Okay, let's get to it. Here we go. This is funny.
And that's how her friend introduced me to her back in February. He said she's the queen of King of Diamonds. And so she spoke a prophetic word over my life when I was doing the podcast in Albany, Georgia with Antonio. Antonio, where you at? Antonio, where you at? Where my boy Antonio? I can't see. Oh, you're right there in that row. What's up, Antonio? And so he had me do the podcast at this church, and this woman of God began to speak a prophetic word over my life. She says that the Dear Future Wifey podcast, God is going to use the podcast to start a revival across the world. The reason why that was so important is because I did the podcast in Toronto, Canada, back February of 2022, and a prophet there pulled me out of the audience and spoke the same word over my life. And so 3 years later, almost to the date, I just realized that almost to the date, it was February of 2022, and then February of 2025, she confirmed that same word. And so, y'all going to experience something towards the end of this podcast. So, Tiara.
That's me.
So when you say God pulled you out the pits of hell and redeemed your soul, give people reference of what type of stuff that you go through and why did God have to save you at this appointed time?
Before we get to that, let me get to the super chat. Dante Bryan, $5. He said, people use fornication wrong. The biblical definition is sexual wickedness, bestiality, adultery, incest, etc. It's not smacks at a wedlock. Okay, that's good. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong because people will, I guess, translate the Bible in many ways. And I honestly, Dante, I learned this from social media because I remember I asked a question at the last time we was doing a review of Dear Future Wifey. I said, how can people be on social media arguing about the Bible when y'all reading the same book? And it's because of the fact that a lot of people interpret what certain things mean differently, and that's where the argument comes in. I've seen it multiple times. I've seen a woman recently say that she thinks that Adam bit the apple first or something like it's. But yeah, so yeah, that's it's wild work. But yeah, but I mean, hey. I'm not gonna go against that, brother. I have no argument against for or against. All right, let's continue. Oh, and the woman that's about to speak here, this is Tiara Renee Walton. That is the king of Queen of Diamonds. Okay.
Whoa. I mean, you are really good at what you do. Can we just give him a round of applause for being so good at what he does? My God. So.
And you could tell, man, this woman is heavily tatted. If I was, man, I would have had to put on a whole dress. You know what I'm saying? I would have had her put on a whole dress and cover up them tats.
Everyone's hell looks different. Yeah. You would not have heard of me if you were walking right. Amen.
Amen.
So I guess I was walking right because I didn't know who this woman is. And it's funny. Where is King of Diamonds? Is that in Georgia? Is that in Atlanta? Is that in Atlanta or Florida? Because I know Atlanta and Florida have two like popular strip clubs. Damn. What Rick Ross be saying? What was those God dog it. It's I know Florida and Atlanta, Miami and Atlanta have some King of Diamonds. All the rappers used to talk about it. They probably know who she is. So, all right. So I guess we was walking right. So,
however, no. But so God had to save me because I am called for such a time as this. And his saving me was cold turkey. I stopped everything cold turkey. I stopped smoking weed, having sex, and stripping all at the same time, all in the same day. And I've never gone. 2 out of 3. But I repented.
See, yeah. Which one y'all think it is? She said, I stopped smoking, drinking, and having sex. Which one did she, fall off the beat path? Well, what happened? You think she was sneaking in? You get to it. We know the game.
for the one. And let's just say I don't be high and you ain't seen me back in the club. So repentance is necessary. Amen.
Wait, so what does that mean? I don't be high and you ain't seen me in the club. So I assume that's drinking. So she in there sneaking in. You didn't ran off. But hey, everybody slip up. No judgment here.
Amen. But God had to save me, particularly me, because of the boldness that I walk in for him. I was so bold and brazen in the entertainment industry. I had Mazzani Pole Fitness. I had Mazzani Beauty Bar. I had all things Mazzani.
So that's, I guess that's her stripper name, Mazzani. Which one of y'all wayward souls know who Mazzani is? JT Corn Rings 199 Super Chat said, hello, Meaty Man. What up, though? Now it's the show. We got JT in the building. What up? So that's her name.
I was a god.
Oh, wait, another one. Ajax Man 5 Super Chat said, how is she repenting and she's still getting her cheese clapped? You might as well not go to church, ma'am, and stop throwing God in that. Oh, listen, she does. She has a somewhat of a business. But yeah, let's listen. There we go.
So God had to save me because he would eventually give me the tools to dethrone the God of myself.
See, and I don't understand this. All right, I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna just let him cook.
And then he would give me not only the dominion, but he would give me the authority over the spirit that had me bound. And he knew that he can trust me. And he knew that I would not desire to make my name great, but make his name even greater. I walked away from so many different things. I walked away from television. I ran away from television. I walked away from opportunities that I did not realize were a distraction.
What show did you run away from?
Love and Hip Hop.
She was gonna be on Love and Hip Hop.
I ran away from Love and Hip Hop. See, because I don't know. I'm not trying to hype Mazzani up because Mazzani dead, right?
So she keeps saying that name. So I'm assuming she wants people to look up her work. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not putting that on my phone. Mazzani. So that was her stripper name, I guess. Okay. Here we go.
I ain't trying to hype Mazzani up, but I just want to tell y'all. I was the #1 entertainer in the country. And
wow. Y'all hear that? She said she was the #1 entertainer, stripper, lady of the night, pole dancer, walk it like you're talking. She said she was a #1 stripper in the nation. Wow.
And out of the country.
And out of the country.
So when they came after me, I felt like I don't need Love and Hip Hop and I don't date rappers. No offense.
Uh-oh.
You're very, you cool. I don't want to offend you because I feel like you might have a lot to say if I do. So I don't date rappers, so I did not feel like there was a need for me to go on Love and Hip Hop. I was like, I'm Mazzani, you know? But that goes to show where I was, my mentality. I felt like I didn't need something that was nationally syndicated or whatever the case may be. I was bigger than the program. And so that's why God saved me and he chose me because there were so many women who followed me naturally. The enemy used what I am anointed to do, which is to draw people, draw women. And he used and put perversion on it. And he made me feel as if it was influence. So
okay. Hold on. Let's see. Dante Bryan, $5 super chat said, that's because everyone is meant to understand the Bible. Only a that's because everyone is meant, or did you mean to say everyone isn't meant to understand the Bible? Only a chosen few. Women are supposed to learn in silence. Paul said that. Sorry, ladies. Okay. Okay, yeah, I got you. Appreciate it.
So I was confusing my anointing with my influence, and it eventually got too heavy. Are we done with that question?
That's good. That's
All
good.
right.
Okay.
No, that's good because you said you were confusing your anointing with your influence.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. And so do you feel like you have a mandate to go rescue other souls that are in the line of work that you're in to bring them to the kingdom of God?
So that's actually a good question. So yeah, that's her walk in life. She was, I guess she said, self-proclaimed biggest stripper in America. So the question that Lateris asked, that was good.
Okay, thank you, sister. Was in. But I'll say this. One, I'm called to leaders. I'm called to cultivate spaces between those who follow leaders and leaders. Cultivate spaces of redemption, forgiveness, healing, all of the things, because I have been a follower and I have been a leader. And I understand the expectation that people have being a follower and then what looks like the failure of a leader. So one, I'm called to leaders. Two, I'm called to...
See, this is that talk, man. This is tough, bro. This is really tough.
Women. Y'all gotta make some noise because that ain't no easy call.
Hold on, I think y'all hold on. Here we go.
Okay, thank you, sister. Was in. But I'll say this. One, I'm called to leaders. I'm called to cultivate spaces between those who follow leaders and leaders. Cultivate spaces of redemption, forgiveness, healing, all of the things, because I have been a follower and I have been a leader. And I understand the expectation that people have being a follower and then what looks like the failure of a leader. So one, I'm called to leaders. Two, I'm called to women. Y'all gotta make some noise because that ain't no easy call. I want y'all to act like y'all know how y'all are. One more time, I'm also called to women. All right. And ultimately within women, I am called to women who have been abused, misused at the hands of the adult entertainment industry, yes.
That's good. That's good.
But am I going in the strip club and grabbing them out?
Are you?
I am. So if anybody wants to join me, sign up in the back.
Hey, so she says so I guess that's her calling now. She's literally going into strip clubs and trying to get women off the pole. So, but she actually said something funny here. Listen to this.
But not if you're going to be distracted by what's going on. Yeah. We got laser focused.
I love it. I love it. Sky.
What's your thoughts on that? That's what's the Mesere something? I don't know. Well, her name was Tierra Renee Watt. I believe she's married right now to a ring on her finger. So I think some guy got to it. So moving on.
What did you see in KJ that made you decide to marry her?
Okay, so this is funny. First, KJ, KJ, and this is Sky and KJ Smith. He's gonna speak first. This is good. His story is pretty good.
Well, I saw a blue bodysuit walking down Tyler Perry Studios.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, you ain't got to lie, brother. You know what I'm saying? We got eyes. KJ Smith is a very attractive woman, man. So you actually did good, man. Shouts out to them. Good couple.
I'm not lying. And I'll be completely honest. I went after KJ because she was number one. And I knew what I wanted for my life when we finally started dating and we started to put each other in each other's orbit. Because KJ and I met a whole year before we started dating. And I believe in energy and frequency.
Here we go.
And when you see someone, and at that point in time, and I'm just going to give my wife her props, I don't know if there's an amazing documentary out right now, and I'm just going to shout it out because it's Black Creatives, #1 on the call sheet on Apple TV.
Yes.
My wife is #1 on the call sheet.
Yeah.
And not just #1 on the call sheet. My wife is #1 on the call sheet of the longest running Black show international #1 in its demographic from 18 to 49. And that's a huge feat.
Crazy.
And when I saw that, being in the entertainment industry, I understood that in order to get there, and found out she was from Tallahassee, Florida, and been in LA for 16 years. And I had heard she also did background, which some people call extras, for 6 years. I know this Black woman had to have the ambition of 1,000 men to get to where she is, and not only that, be respected. So with that being said, she's gorgeous. That's
Hey, I was laughing at that. That brother said all that just to come back around and say, hey, she gorgeous. That was it.
that's not to be debated. There's a lot of women that's gorgeous.
Let me get the super chat. We got John Doe 499. He says, no Christian man or woman has any business in the strip club. Panels like this is why the Black church is a joke. John, we get your sentiments, brother, man. We get what you're saying, man. But it's entertainment. It's the podcast. We understand. I understand what you're saying, bro. But no matter how many times you say that, man, they're not going to stop. So I get what you're saying. You have good intentions. Let's continue.
But there's a certain amount of women that have a vision and direction for their life. That part. And I knew I had a certain vision and direction for my life. And you asked a question earlier, and you said, do men find the right one or the right time? It's the right time. Because sometimes the right one, you can mess over the right one when it's your wrong time. Right? And I'm going to be honest. I personally would not have gone after my wife being a leading actress when I was valet parking cars.
Now, that's the part. Okay, so they're going to get into this. And I love the way that she responded when it's her turn to talk. He said that, hey, I wouldn't have went after my wife knowing the fact that she was the lead actress of Sisters, the show, right? Because I was parking cars, valet or whatever, right? So it's basically him saying, man, I wasn't, ready. I didn't have the means. I didn't have the resources to actually court this woman. And I think that's a good thing. Even though we all know that broke dudes know how to, they can sneak in. That's not the point here. The point is trying to keep a woman and take care of her in regards to getting married. He just admitted he wasn't at that point when he was parking cars. But I guess he was in a better place. And then he decided to step to her because he was ready to provide and protect for her. Okay, so I think that's a good thing. Let's continue.
And I get flack for saying that. No, it's not about the money. It's about my confidence and overall actual emotional maturity and vulnerability to be able to feel good enough about myself to fill my cup up first before I can pour into her.
Let me give Abe Brown some credit, man. I know I've been pulling up super chats, but I'm thinking that too. And I was about to say that, Abe Brown, he said they're all trying to be quotable and deep. Yes. And I was about to say, I think when people get into the church, like if they're in the church, they think that they have to be so knowledgeable and this wisdom in the way they speak, and the cadence is the same type of cadence, especially with the guys. Unto thee, and it's like, just speak, man. And I think the women, especially KJ, she does a better job of just being herself instead of trying to be this holier than thou, be deep and quote and stuff like that, like A. Brown said, man. So yeah, I definitely agree. Dante Bryant, Father just said the ambition of 1,000 men, Black men kill me with the way they worship and exalt Black women. But Black women will swear they're the least protected and most disrespected. We're disrespected. Yeah, man, it's crazy. We know the game, man. All right, let's continue.
So I'm not going to come to you sweetheart, when I'm standing there and I'm making $13 an hour, because right now at this point, my mindset is not right for where your life is right now.
It wasn't your mindset, brother. You just didn't have the means. You didn't have no ducats. You didn't have no coins, man. It's all good.
You know what I'm saying? You have prepared your way. You have gotten where you need to get at this certain moment. I'll be honest. As a Black man, my mental is not there. So I'm going to get with you at the wrong time. And now I'm lacking certain skills or, again, emotional maturity that I can't even offer you because I'm at a different place in my life. So once we actually got together, and I always say this was God, right? Because when I first came in, I'll wrap it up. I first came on Sisters as a recurring. KJ was the lead of the show. We also met in the pandemic, right? So at this point in time, this is my big break. I've literally just stopped parking cars, and this was 5 years ago. And I lived in LA for 21 years, and I was homeless 3 times while pursuing my dream. So Jacoby, that some of you watch the show and may know her, Jacoby was not ready for Andy because Jacoby had a different mindset. God brought us together when an opportunity came to me that I had now worked for, and I had sowed my seeds, and God says, I will reward you with a series regular to be AMP. So now my confidence is different. I can take you on a date and actually have a conversation and listen to your needs, your wants. We can talk about a lot of different things. We can talk about growth,
fair use.
We can talk about stuff like that instead of me thinking, can I cover the bill?
Yes.
And I'm saying that to say I had the mental capacity. I had the mental capacity to be able to accept the bond that was being created. So all of the other stuff was out of the way. How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my car note? I'm not going to mess over her, and I'm not going to mess over her destiny, because now I'm in a place in my life to where I can sit across from you. We can have a great conversation and we can talk about the future. That is how I selected my wife. And I'll be honest with you, the main thing that my wife said to me when we were talking for the first time, she said, I send my grandmother stuff on Instacart like it's nothing. And I was raised with my grandparents. And I said, wow, she cares about family.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, whoa.
It's all right. It's all right.
My grandmother is, without my grandmother, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that struck a chord with me. And that one moment allowed conversations of 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. We needed one date, and we've been together since January 7th, 2021. We've never been apart. That was our first date.
Good on them, man.
So I say all that to say that is how I knew my wife was the one, because I was at an emotional place to where I could accept what was happening in a divine way.
Scott, first of all, let me thank you for being transparent and vulnerable.
I'm glad Lateris is about to acknowledge him. It takes a lot for a man to admit that. What he say? I was homeless 3 times. I was parking cars. He didn't have to tell everybody that, because he knows it may be some backlash when they looking at her being the lead of the show and him being, a recurring cast member. You can almost assume that she makes more money. So for him to be vulnerable and say, hey man, I was homeless, recurring roles and all this type of stuff, takes a lot. So I'm glad he said that. Dante Bryan, $2 just said, more Big Mama worship. Dante Bryan don't like that, do he? Let's continue. Fair use.
Thank you.
Okay, so KJ is about to talk. She is a little bit extra, but she's an actress. So
I want to create spaces for men to be transparent and vulnerable. It's hard for men to actually share that, to say, you know what, I wasn't in the space, even financially, to even approach a woman like that. So my question to you, KJ, would you have given him a chance if he was parking cars?
No.
I love it. I'm glad she was straight to it. Would you have gave him a chance if you still park cars? No. That's good. I like it. No. Don't lie about it, sister. Dante Bryant, 2000 just say he gonna tell it because it makes a good story. Yeah, I mean it does. You know, he made his way up, but she honest. She said, "Yo, if you still parking cars, nah, brother." That's good. Look, she like, ain't nothing funny.
KJ, why not?
She shouldn't have though.
I know, but I'm gonna ask her why not.
And it's honestly, it's not the reason what y'all think. It's not what y'all think, you know, why she would. This is funny.
Of all the things he said, it's like I work background. And for you all who don't know, background is a stepping stone in the entertainment industry. So if you do a show like Sisters, I'm only gonna promote my show every night. I'll be every Wednesday night at 9. Don't miss it. Okay, now that that's out of the way. You know, if I'm doing a scene, I'm in the law office, there are people walking back and forth. And I did that, he said 6 years. I did that full time for 6 years. I really did it for 10 years while I was trying to get my big break. You make about $100 a day. Yep. It's good money when when you're trying to make it. Yep. And him meeting me when he was parking cars would be like me meeting someone when I was doing background. I was not mentally mature. I was super immature. I was tired all the time. I didn't have the mental capacity to have a normal conversation without thinking about my survival. So even when I meet you, I'm thinking about my survival. What do you do? Where are you from? How much money you got? Because I'm tired. You know what I mean? It wasn't organic or authentic because I wasn't in the space. And women, they don't want to talk about that, but I will. I wanted a provider. I wanted someone who wasn't pulling me down. I was already down.
So she was saying, I mean, and that's good. This is transparency. She wasn't ready either. She wasn't making no bread. He wasn't making no bread. It just wasn't a good match at that time. They both would have been struggling, working hard, tired. So she was like, no. And I think that's a good thing. And you know, the real message about this, guys, is if the church folks are talking about money, then what do y'all think the priority is in these relationships? You see what I'm saying here? Because people kind of try and debate that in these spaces. Money means a lot to a lot of people in relationships these days, including people in the church. Everything that she's saying, I wanted a provider. I didn't have money. He didn't have no money. Yes, it is important in a relationship. Is it the most important thing? That can be debatable, depending on who you ask and the type of relationship that you want. But somebody got to be making some money, right? So, but this is good. You hear the church talking about money, which is something that people talk about in the secular conversations. It is what it is.
I ain't want to go no lower. Where we going to hell?
Yes, Neo1 said that, yeah, this was the first time I heard provider, and it did give me the ick. Yeah, she did a good job. Man, is that you, Ken? What up, though? Let's continue.
Oh, no, I would not have done that. I loved him. He was fine, though. It was tempting.
It was tempting.
Pretty hot and tempting. But absolutely not. No, I worked really hard to be where I was, and I knew that one bad decision could just take it away from me.
That I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming she's talking about having a child, an unwanted child out of wedlock. Because she said, yeah, it was tempting. You know, she thought the brother was attractive, but that didn't, make her do something that she didn't want to do. And I wish more women would take that approach. Like, man, I got to find that old ass video that I did where I was telling women, like, yes, you want a guy to be attractive, but if everything else don't align, then you got to let that man go. Far too often we have women that are like, okay, he attractive, legs wide open. It's like, what are you doing? This brother, he homeless. That's where you get, what's the term that they have? Hobosexual. He homeless. He ain't got nothing. And the only thing that y'all require is him being attractive. If everything else don't align, then he don't qualify. You can't let him sneak in. But a lot of women don't do that. It seemed like she did that. So good to her.
Just one, and it's about timing.
Yeah. So what was it about him on y'all's first date? What did you hear? What did you feel?
Oh, let me tell the story, you guys.
She's such an actress, ain't she?
My husband is way too poetic and deep.
Who just said that? I was waiting on that. Trying to sound poetic and deep. She just called him out. Hold on, let me give you credit, brother. Was that A. Brown? Was that? There you go. Poetic and deep. There you go, A. Brown. You caught it.
I'm gonna tell the real tea.
Tell it.
I'm gonna tell the tea.
Go ahead, KJ.
Okay, so this is what really happened. This is what happened. TT.
Let's start off with what had happened.
Let me tell you what had happened.
I told you she is very extra. She is an actress, so bear with her. She married.
There it is.
We were getting ready for season 2. We were getting ready. Come on now. We were getting ready for season 2 of Sisters.
Not to cut my wife off.
Go ahead, baby.
We wouldn't have been married if it wasn't for
Absolutely
this beautiful woman right here, and also getting the blessing from John Gray, because he was like, I'm not going to let my wife officiate y'all if I don't feel the Holy Spirit in there and it's not meant to be. We had to go through the whole family.
We had to do an SAT test to get married, y'all. I'm not even playing. And I thank God for y'all's blessing. And nothing has changed. So I love that. So we were in the pandemic. It was season 2. It was a lot of pressure. Okay, I have to set the scene. It was a lot of pressure. We were really stressed out because we were the first production. We made history, y'all. We were the first production to go back during COVID. It was a lot of pressure because if one test came back negative, they had to shut the whole program. And we talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? So we get on, everything is on Zoom now, right? So I'm rehearsing with my girls on Zoom, with my sisters on Zoom. And the character that plays Sabrina, Novi Brown, goes, y'all, I met my new leading man. He fine, y'all. We went hiking, and he said that he's tired of playing games. He wants a real relationship. He's tired of the trash and dating frivolously and all that stuff. And at this time, God had called me to sit down.
Sit down and get out.
God had told me you need to sit this out. You need to sit dating out completely. I have had my heart broken more times than I want to admit on this stage.
Okay, so this is funny. Now watch this. She had her heart broken multiple times, right? But she got to save face. Remember, I was telling you guys that they're trying to win on both ends. So yeah, this is funny. Watch how she cleaned this up.
Because I'm a baddie. Don't ever forget it.
See that?
Okay.
You see that? She like, I'm a baddie, but I had my heart broken by some dudes, a couple times. So yeah, that was good on her. They want to win on both ends. It wasn't my fault. It was some other dude's fault. They broke my heart.
So don't play me. Okay. But God told me to sit down, and I literally sat down. I was so tired. And I was like, I wasn't thinking about nothing she said. I'm like, doesn't matter because my mind is not there. So then y'all have the video. I'm recording. I'm trying to vlog. I'm like, oh, passive income. Okay. Because listen, acting is one income. Yeah. And trust me, I've been through 2, 3, 4 strikes. I've been through COVID for 2 to 4 years. And so people think, oh, this is all roses and sunshine. No. No, we have to have other means of income as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to start vlogging because you get on YouTube, you make millions. Let me borrow $20.
You got more than me.
Let me borrow, because you got billions of views over there.
You're getting that Tyler Perry money. So.
I mean, listen, it's nice. I ain't going to hold you. So I'm gonna make it quick. So we land. They drop us off because we're getting ready. Tyler has made it so that we have a private jet because we can't be on a commercial plane because then we're at risk of COVID. So we're all on the jetway. We're just, and I'm vlogging. The first person I go to, I'm telling you, I could do this right now all over again. I'll do it for you. Let's do a scene, shall we?
Go ahead.
Hey, y'all. So we getting ready for season 2. So excited. We just made.
Okay, just bear with her. Let her get through it. I know y'all like, man, when we gonna get to David Banner? He coming up, man, but let her cook a little bit. Dante Bryan, find out what just said. It always amazes me how people describe the Most High calling them like they can speak with him directly. I really believe it's just their ego, bro. And you hear that a lot, you know. And sometimes, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. Sometimes I feel like, man, do I not measure up? Why I can't talk to God as clearly as these people say that they talk to God? What does that even look like? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm like, I pray, you know, I pray every day. I try and do things the righteous way. But when you hear people talk and say that, yeah, God told me, or I talked to God and he said, I'm like, dang, man, why I ain't never experienced that? Y'all ain't never thought like that? But Dante Bryan, you like, man, that is maybe just their ego. So I'm like, what is that? You know, you may ask God for advice, but I don't know if I've heard them as clearly as they describe their encounters. And it's like, man, what do I need to do to speak to God if it's that easy? Yeah, it's crazy. So it may be ego. So I may lean on that. I may agree with you, Dante. That's good.
Made it to the jetway. Let's see who we got here. Okay. Oh, there's Miss Shirley. Okay, and then let's see who we got here. I didn't know his name, but he was new. He had a mask on. I figured he a part of the cast, right? I guess. I'm like, okay, tell the people who you are.
I'm Sky.
Okay, well, who do you play on the show?
I'm Jacoby.
Hey, what does Jacoby do on the show?
He comes in F's up.
My heart said, dun dun, dun dun. I said, oh. In the video, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Stranger danger.
See, she's extra, man.
I was like, whoa, my heart just skipped a beat. Is that for real? And then after that, we started finding ourselves in the same vicinity all the time. And it wasn't intentional, but if we did a prayer before work, I'm holding his hand. I'm looking up like, hey, that's you. You know, if we're standing in line to get the food, because listen, Tyler, listen, that's a good man. He hold no punches, okay? He had the food trucks out there for us during COVID. We was eating good. Mm-hmm. And so we're in line together, and I'm just like, hey,
the energy. I believe
it's you again. And we were just we were pulled to each other. And then we had one conversation, and then we didn't have a conversation after that until a year later.
Why? What happened? Why would it so y'all didn't exchange phone numbers?
No fraternization policy, man. I just stopped parking cars. I'm not trying to lose my job.
He ain't trying to lose his job. She may be fine, but I need this money. I need that money. TT, set it off.
I mean, we were in COVID, man. I was from $13 an hour to 11 episodes recurring, man. I'm like, woo, this is the biggest check I've seen in a minute. So you're not going after the lead actress.
and God had told me to sit down. Like, God had told me to sit down. So I was being obedient. I wasn't pursuing it because now, I mean, once the levee broke, I was on his neck.
All right, Ronnie, you see what up though? $5 super chat said, so if the money dry up, she gone. Acting money ain't stable money, especially black actors. I'm missing a lot of context because I'm just stepping in. Well, I mean, yeah, and I think she actually mentioned that, or she's gonna mention that acting. She put it as like acting money is like residual income. It's like passive income or something like that because of how sporadic it can be. So I don't know if she's saying that she's going to leave, but it's definitely important. So you are definitely on the right track. It is important. Hell, money important for all couples, but for her to say that and be transparent, I actually like that. So I'm not sure if she's going to leave him. They got, equity in the relationship, so to speak. But yeah, it does make sense to ask that question, Erroneous E. All right, so let's continue.
I was on his neck, okay? Once God gave me the go-ahead, I was like, what's your number? Let me talk to you for a second.
Can I add to that? Like, I just want to add this really quick. Example, first date. We had a 3-hour-long conversation before our first date. Because we were in COVID, I took her to a beach in Malibu and I bought every single thing that she was saying that she liked, and she didn't even know it. So I was packing, I was getting this, getting that. And I'm gonna tell you, if I wasn't at a position to do that, I would have been thinking about, I can't even pay this bill. I don't have the gas money. I don't have this. But instead, the timing, I was able.
Hold on, KJ wanna, I'm calling on the next student. KJ.
Y'all, we was in COVID. I was looking toe up from the flow up. My hair was not done. My nails were not. This is why it was God. Because, I'm sorry. This is how I look on a regular, okay? Excuse me. I was toe up. There's no way this man would have asked me out and I wouldn't have tried to put myself together. But because it was COVID, I had no way to manipulate my looks. I had no way to manipulate my hair. I don't know how to do my own hair and makeup. I ain't gonna hold you. My glam artist right there, Nicole Ray, we stick together like glue. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a hair and makeup girly, okay? I can put on a cute outfit, but that's all you're gonna get from me. But it was during COVID and he was like, what do you like? He was like, well, let me take you out. And I'm thinking, because of previous days, I'm thinking he's gonna take me to get some coffee. We're just gonna have a little something cute. This man showed up with a whole picnic basket with fruit and flowers and all my favorite things, because it's COVID, we can't go to a restaurant. And I showed up, I walked down the stairs with 2 Afro puffs and some Jordans. And I don't even wear Jordans. I don't even know why I had them on. I thought we was going to the park or something lame. I really did. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about the business. It's going to be cute. And that's why I know it was God. Because the KJ me who overthinks and wants to over-present, I mean, I'm not like that no more. I've been through therapy. But at the time.
You still a little bit extra, KJ, but you got a husband, so we going to let it slide.
I didn't know how to be my authentic self. So I would put things on to present something that wasn't really there.
That's good. That's good. You said you didn't know how to be your authentic self, so you had to put something on.
Always. If I left my house, I have my old roommate. She right there. That's my executive right now. Because listen, we network across. Stand up. How many years were we roommates, and how broke was I, and how wasn't I running into your room like, I need you to give me some jewelry and some shoes or something? Because 7 years, and we would borrow each other's clothes because I would have to I had to look better than I felt.
Oh, we got to let that just settle. I had to look better than I felt.
That's actually, man, that was pretty good. There's a lot of people out there that feel like that, man. And I know we talk about people in this materialistic type stuff. They buy certain things, and you're like, man, they can't afford that, or they're just trying to, look the part, keep up with the Joneses. But it's a lot of people that feel like she said, what I'm saying, I have to look better than I felt. That was actually pretty good. I like that. That's fair use.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Sky.
Yes, sir.
Being in Hollywood, seeing people that look better than they felt. How did you discern, even in that moment, that she was more than what she was presenting?
Wow, that's a great question. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know. This is ordained.
Yes, sir.
So and like I said, this is ordained. I get this, church talk or whatever, but him saying, man, I really didn't know that she was the one. That's a perfectly fine answer. It's kind of like, and I know guys can relate to this. Woman say, what did you like about me? You don't want to say, oh man, you had a big booty. You know what I'm saying? And I was attracted to you immediately. You know that she doesn't want to hear that. But if you say that, that's you actually being honest. Because most of the time, man, it's tough to explain, outside of, hey, you're physical. When I first saw you, I was attracted to you. And I encourage guys to be honest. If a woman is feeling you, it don't matter. You could tell that woman, hey, so when you saw me, what did you like about me? Well, first I saw them hips, tips, and all this stuff. That's what I was attracted to. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got to know you, I think you're a cool girl. But when I first saw you, yes, I wanted to sneak in. You can say that, but sometimes you don't have no rhyme or reason. You just know the woman is right for you. And then once you start to spend more time with the woman, it simply confirms it. We don't have to have a answer for everything, okay? And I pointed that out during one of the Pop the Balloon episodes where the guy was trying to make up stuff like, bro, if you ain't got an answer, you don't have to answer. If you said what you said, leave it at that, man. People try and add context where you don't need to. It's cool, man. You just don't know. See, Brendan Lavelle, what up though? $20 bomb. Thank you, brother. Said, I know I'm the old guy in the room who's been married for almost 30 years, but it is really this hard for men and women to get together. Is it really this hard for men and women to get together nowadays? If it is, I really feel bad for them. Please forgive me. I'm tone deaf. It's just honestly, Brendan, from what I gathered doing this, being in these social media conversations, it's the perfect example of the term the dating game. It is, we see it on social media. It's literally like playing a game. And I've said that before. Men have to play the game as such, depending on what you want. If you want to get married, then you got to play the game and put yourself in position to be around women who want marriage as well. And not just marriage, the right type of marriage. If you don't want to get married, there's a game out there for that as well. And in that game, both men and women are trying to win. Women want to get as much as the women who don't want to get married. Let me just say this. They want to get as much as they can out of a man without giving him sex. Men want to get sex from those women without giving up anything or much, not a lot, right? That's why you have these coffee date conversations, or women saying, I need you to pay this bill or whatever. They're trying to get something out of it before they give up their leverage, so to speak, because men understand that if you meet a woman and y'all have sex on the first date, she now has lost all of her bargaining chips if she wanted a relationship. For the most part, sometimes it works out in a couple's favor. Most times it don't. If you sneak in with that woman on the first or second date and y'all ain't discuss anything about a relationship, that's when that what are we conversation comes into play. She gonna start to catch feelings. Then next thing you know, she mad at you because you say, well, I didn't want a relationship. You didn't ask me. So, and women are trying to get what they can out of a man before they give up sex. So both sides are trying to win. Since this platform is predominantly for men, I'm going to speak to the men if that's what you want. And that can be for marriage or just casual dating. And I know this is a Christian conversation, on the show, but we have to be realistic here. Everybody don't want the same things. And my job is to stop men from arguing with women who don't want the same things as you. And that's why we call it the dating game. You just got to put yourself in position to get what you want, whatever that is. So yeah, so I think when people stop trying to get people who don't want what you want, if you're trying to get them to do what you want them to do, I think the conversations will die down and we stop giving that attention to the people that we don't actually want. And honestly, Brendan, I get a lot of pushback for saying that. I ask the questions all the time. Why are you arguing with a woman who say that she don't want marriage? If you want marriage, then you just can't have her. But William K. Jones, he can talk to this because we spoke about this. Sometimes, especially on the men's side, when you see a woman who's very attractive, right? And you already, physically attracted to her, you're like, oh man, seems like a good woman. Then she gets to talking and you hear all these feministic ideas. She wants a partnership. She wants to have both leaders. And you're like, oh, God dang it. Why you just can't be right? And that bothers a lot of guys. Just be right for me. Do good for me. But she don't want the same thing that you want. And at that point, you got to let her go. But on social media, a lot of men, they don't understand how to do that. Because for one, the money is good. Content. If you argue with the woman, trust, bro, if I brung some women up here who was angry, y'all would tune in every damn day. You would complain about it. Why media men bringing this crazy ass woman on the show all the time? But I promise you, that'd probably be some of my highest views. Seriously. But we know that. So like I told you guys, and I don't mind taking a hit based off the content that I do and trying to keep the chat respectful. I don't mind that. But we just have to understand how this social media game and dating works. It's all, one conglomerate that, brings us here, so to speak. So yeah, Brendan, it is tough for a lot of men and women, but it's only tough because they try and argue with people who don't want the same things that they want. Or a woman saying she wants a man who makes $200,000, that offends the majority of the men because the majority of men don't make $200,000. And then you look at the woman asking, and you're like, what makes you think that you deserve a man that makes $200,000? And that starts an argument. Me, I listen and I laugh. I mean, the group chat is lit. Me and my homeboys, we laugh at the shit, but I'm not going to bring this to the public. Let that woman do what she needs to do. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you are on the right track. It is tough, but it's just some things that a lot of people can correct. And that would definitely help the dating market. And as soon as they do that, all the problems will die down, because the people that y'all don't like, you shouldn't be bringing them on your platform. But again, money. It is what it is, man. So let's continue.
I was trying to look better than I felt.
Yeah, he using her. William K. Jones 199, which I said, if you would just act right. Yeah, man, we talked about this and it was funny. We all been through that. I told William I've been through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When I was young, I'm like, man, what the hell? Just act right. I would do right by you, woman. Just if you would just, and she don't want none of that. She don't want no problems. I ain't on that time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be wild out here. You know what I'm saying? And you go just be mad at me. It happens, man. We men, so we know the game.
I mean, I had just came out of poverty. And when I say poverty, raised with my grandparents, together for 56 years, till death did them part. Daddy died. Sky got to grow up. Sky got to grow up. And Sky can't ask grandma that done lost her husband they're married 16 and 18 from Union Springs, Alabama, and then built all of this up. Sky cannot be coming to his grandmother as a man asking for money. Daddy's gone. You got to grow up. I'm trying to look better than what I felt. And today I say this all the time. It's internal.
Yeah.
It's internal, because I do not know. And I'm not going to profess to know. And I don't think our human brains can actually comprehend things that are beyond our intelligence. Sometimes you just got to let God rock and work.
Sometimes you got to just let God rock and work, huh? Y'all are blessing me today. I want that to resonate with y'all in the audience and people that are watching this online when this episode releases, because God needs to give us a vision, a level of discernment to be able to see beyond what our eyes can see. Especially as men, we're programmed as men. We know God made us very visual creatures. And it seemed like KJ got a lot of that too, because she said she was looking at old Sky and was like, he fine. But we have to be able to see beyond what our natural eyes can see, men. I want to challenge you. I did an episode of my podcast in season 1 where I said purpose versus preference. And I said, I don't want to miss the woman that God has designed for me because she's not showing up as my preference.
So do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree with that? Like, and I know most women would look at that and take that as they will be offended by that, of him saying that, hey, you know, I need a woman that's more in line with my purpose and not necessarily my preference, because that's alluding to the fact that you prefer a woman who looks a certain way, but the woman that's going to help you with your purpose is not necessarily the woman that you would go for, which is essentially the video that I showed you guys, the couple on his show. He said that. He said he used to like light-skinned women, you know, but his wife is dark-skinned, and she was the one for me. You see what I'm saying? So women would actually be offended by that. Hell, I think men would be offended. They're like, man, you know, you're not necessarily my preference, but I knew that you would help me, you know, help me build my brand. I mean, yes, it sounds good and the outcome is amazing, but verbally saying that, you know, or, you know, vocalizing that's crazy. So Dante Bryan, $2 super chat said, I agree, men do it all the time. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, and I like this. Yeah, Ronnie, see, I do to a certain, yeah, same here. I understand it, but it's tough to say it like that. And I'm trying to make it make sense. I don't speak church or Christianese, but yeah, I get it. I get what he's trying to say. Let's continue.
And God says, I have so much purpose in this woman. And how dare I choose preference over purpose? That means that I'm not listening to the voice of God. His mouth isn't tethered to my ear in order for me to hear and see as only Christ can allow me to see.
Yeah, and this is good. I'm glad you followed up. Erroneous. He said, for instance, I prefer a black woman, but if a white, Hispanic, Asian, or Native woman fits me, I'm going. Yeah, and that would work into your favor. And that's actually a better analogy and a better way to put it. I think, well, I won't say I think, I know the majority of black men prefer black women. It just is what it is. Majority of white men prefer white women, so on and so forth. We get it. But I think with black men being more vocal in regards to, you have to bring more to the table other than, you know what I'm saying, a big booty. I need some peace in my life and all this type of stuff. I think black men are being more open to dating outside of their preference. And we see that in the marital, you know, rates. 1 out of 5 married black men are now married to another race of woman. So yeah, it does make sense. You know, it's like, man, I may prefer this, but hey, this woman is better suited for me, then I'll go ahead. I got to do what I got to do. And you know what's funny, Erroneous? See, that's something that Lateris, he doesn't have that freedom to do. You do, but he doesn't. His preference, I'm pretty sure, is black women, but he's been doing this for about 7 years. He still hasn't found his wife, the wife that he's been writing letters to. His audience is predominantly black women. He can't go outside his race because that would mess up his whole brand. You see what I'm saying? So, Erroneous, you're actually in a more privileged place than him because he's in a box. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but he doesn't have the luxury of trying to date outside his race if it's not working with the black women that he, you know, I guess speaks to on his platform or met from his platform. You see what I'm saying? And that's, I don't know if he knew that when he got into this space, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he understands now, especially with the backlash that he's getting from black women right now. So yeah, so you're in, you in a privileged position, bro. A lot of y'all are, since he don't have it. So fair use. Let's get to it.
See. So I always make sure I have a heart posture where I say, God, not my will, but let thy will be done. David Banner.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah. We about to talk to you right now. Oh, y'all heard that? Y'all heard that little run? I'm trying to be like Pastor John Gray when I grow up. So let me ask you, David Bannon, do you desire marriage? We hear it all on these social media streets that you have now, you have this heart posture where you said, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Why do you need a wife?
Well, I think it's balance. I think it's balance. I think it was meant to be that way. It's not to offend anybody, but I think the Trinity is man, woman, and God in no particular order, but God first. And anytime it's not all there, it's never right. You may do well in the eyes of men. You may do well in the eyes of human beings, but that balance is important, Adrian, I was so surprised. I was so proud of you when you said Arian, I'm sorry. Arian, when you said that you don't have to play anything because you're always feminine. And that's true. Ever since I met you. And I'm that way in the masculine sense.
You see that? And I think when Mona was here, I think Mona's still here. Yeah, it's don't listen to that foolery when a woman is saying, I need a man to put me in my femininity. She should be like that all the time, brothers. Listen to Young.
I've always been a man, sometimes misguided in some of my ways because, my mentor just told me, he said, stop beating up on yourself. You did the best with what you had, and you do better when you know better. And so for me as a man, I realized that when you look at any great book, whether it's the Torah, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Bible, it's really about what you're willing to sacrifice. So what's funny about me is I've always wanted to be married. But what I did know is that I want my woman, if she wants to, she do as she chooses to do, as long as she's able to take care of the household and my children. And I have to be able to provide at a certain level for me to demand or want that. I don't want my wife to have to do anything.
You see, now, again, provision, provide, money. The church folks saying the same exact thing. And I'm not, David Banner, he, follows a lot of different things. But you see what I'm saying? It means a lot, man. It is what it is.
She can do as she chooses to do, but what comes along with that, what a lot of people don't understand is that means sacrifice. So I had to sacrifice having a wife. I had to sacrifice having sustainable relationships with not just a woman, but my friends. What people didn't understand about me is that not only was I a successful rapper, I was a successful actor, one of the top speakers on the Black speaking circuit. As a matter of fact, a lot of my peers didn't even know what lectures were. I got that from studying Malcolm and Martin, be clear, right? So I was successful in ways that I had never, ever imagined. We were talking about Warren Campbell this morning. Me and Warren Campbell had a production company and we only produced one artist, and that was Quincy Jones.
Hold on, no, you have to let that settle.
Oh.
You can't rush past that part. We only had one artist, and it was Quincy Jones.
Right.
He produced Thriller. And you produced him.
I produced the guy that produced Thriller. Be clear. And it's funny because I came from Mississippi. I'll tell y'all a quick story. When I got my $10 million deal, I was homeless in my van, and you know this.
Man.
I was sleeping in my van, and it's funny because the only thing that I had on my physical presence when I was going through Birmingham was my pistol. And so when they took my van, which had my studio in it, I was sleeping in my van, and I went to Walmart and got one of those transistors that you put inside of your lighter, and I built the studio in the passenger seat. So when y'all listen to Mississippi, the album, and you hear the interludes and you hear those cars passing by, it's because I had a mic in between my legs recording the interludes in my van.
That's one of my favorite albums. I referenced that a while back. Mississippi. That's why I learned how to spell Mississippi without looking at it. M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I, M-F. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let's continue.
That's why I tell people you never have an excuse, right?
Teach.
Right? But watch, that's not the powerful part of the story. When I got my 10 million, when they stole my van, I literally, and this I think is the only time in my life that I can say I literally heard God's voice. I've always been good with direction and vibes. I felt like I knew where my van was. And I think that's where my van was when they found it, but something told me, let it go. And I left my van and I had my pistol. If I would have seen them boys that night, excuse me, Pastor, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
I would have got to them, right? So I left the van. When Steve Rifkin called me, and we have to stop acting like things are happenstance if you truly believe in God.
Teach.
Things happen exactly the way they're supposed to. Teach. So stop thinking that it's a mistake. In actuality, if we became more in tune with God, we could control it more. It's not magic. When you are in line and you're listening the way that you're supposed to, but we'll talk about that. Guess what city I was driving through when Steve Rifkin said the contracts are ready? I was driving through Birmingham and I stopped on 17th Street in that old Kinko's and I signed a $10 million deal in the same place that them people took everything in my life away from me.
Man, $10 million deal. They stole his van, all his equipment, and now he got bread. That's crazy.
Right? So, in saying that, what people never understood about my career is for a 10-year period, I never stopped. When I wasn't doing David Banner the artist, I was producing Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, artists on that level. When I wasn't producing T.I. and Nelly, then I was acting. When I wasn't acting, I was speaking. And then people forget every time something happened.
Did y'all know David Banner produced Lil Wayne? I didn't know that. That's crazy.
When I had a hit single, she will tell you, I always took my power and used it for black people. Yep. Whether it was Trayvon, Mike Brown, whether it was Katrina, I threw the largest urban relief. You don't have to clap for me, I don't need it. I needed it when I came out on stage and I didn't feel that same kind of love. I ain't Oprah, I ain't got nothing under my seat for you. And the reason why I tell y'all that, black folks, sometimes we get in the spirit of what somebody says and their intent may not be right. Listen to me, I might say something that you want. I'll switch on you in a minute. I might say something you don't agree with. So just listen. So what ended up happening with me that I did so much in my life and I was so blessed and I didn't have anybody around me to teach. I was the first person in my state to do what I did and all of that pressure was on me. Imagine they holler out to the world, David Banner got $10 million in the poorest state in one of the poorest cities in the United States. Ooh. What that did to me on a street level. Yes. If I was an inch softer, that's why I tell y'all, regardless of what you are in love, I am so proud of you. What we think are our mistakes is what makes us the conduit of God. And that's the only reason why them young ladies will listen to you. Yeah. It's because of that armor that you had to put on in order to survive. If I wouldn't have went through them streets, them kids wouldn't have listened to me. And regardless of how clean we get, them kids smell it on us. Yeah. Good or bad. They can tell whether you fake or you really went through it. Yeah, that's for real. So what I'm saying is like a lot of times we sit up here and beat up on ourselves. I am proud of who I am. And I always tell the Christian folks, y'all always make excuses for David in the Bible. Who was he? He was an artist. Psalms was a song. They were verses. If you will let that man send somebody's husband to war to die so you can have sex with her, you can't give me no grace for me cussing a little bit.
So hey, David Banner gonna tell it like it is. Don't be hypocrites.
Ain't David too? When I did that song with Mary, you know how they treated them girls because they was on there with
they sure did.
And I said on the song, God, I'm trying to do better. Y'all think I'm a pimp, but I'm trying to be like Christ in real life. Y'all didn't hear that verse though.
Mary is a gospel group, and he did that song with them, and the Christians, they didn't like that. Same thing happened with Glorilla and Kirk Franklin recently, right? They don't like that. So, but you guys can see the difference, and the reason why I let everybody go, and everybody was trying to sound poetic and, you know, and trying to speak in Christianese. David Banner, man. And that's why I like listening to this one, because he's speaking like himself, and it's, you know, it's easier for us to understand, so to speak. So this is good. I'm gonna let him cook.
That's why I don't get all emotional when you start hooping and hollering at me. You may just be a good speaker. I watch your deeds. One of my friends asked me, he said, why do you support my church and you so critical of most of these churches? I said, because you don't talk like Jesus, you act like him. I watch your deeds. So to answer your question directly, the reason why it took me so long, because I was working. The brother just said, you have to, for what I want out of a woman, I got some work to do. And when I tell people that I'm sexy and I look good and people think I be popping off, I'm in the gym every morning at 7 o'clock, working my tail off.
The gym. That's all I heard. Nah, man, but sometimes, man, you got to give yourself credit, man. And I hate what, like I was telling the taller guys, don't slouch over, take up space. Taller women, wear heels, take up space. And if you're doing something good, don't be afraid to brag about it, bro. Sometimes black men, we can get too humble. We can be too humble. Speak up, man. If you know you're doing some great things, say it. The world need to hear it. F who don't like it. Take up space, man. That's why I like when David Banner speaks, man. Take up space. Be yourself.
The things I demand because I'm going to give that to a woman. I just said this. How can I pray to God for an angel and I was a demon?
Did y'all hear that? And I'm glad he said that, because this gives me a chance to talk to the guys, you know, and, you know, some of the pushback that I got when I was telling guys, you calling yourself a good guy does not make you a good guy, right? I told you guys to just simply be a fair man, be good men. And that comes with the good and the bad. So when you see certain women out there, and I'll use the guy from the Pop the Balloon show. There was a lot of guys in the chat, you know, the ambassador for the Short Kings. They were saying none of those women were on his level. And I asked one guy in particular, I was like, so what is his level? What type of woman should he be getting with? Or what type of woman is his level? When you say certain things like that, you have to put everything into perspective. Okay? So if this guy is on the Pop the Balloon show looking for a woman, then he may not be a good man. He may not be a good guy. He may not be a bad guy. He just may be fair and ain't found the right one. It don't mean that those women are less than because they didn't choose him because of his height. It is what it is. So like David Banner said, you know, I can't be looking for an angel when I'm a whole devil. You got to fix yourself first, man. It's the truth. Sometimes we got to hear that.
So I had to make myself better, and it took some time.
There you go.
And if I ain't
go in, adjust your seat. Let him cook. Erroneous C, $5 super chat said David Banner is an amazing orator. I appreciate him now more than when he was recording. Yeah, and I'm the same way, Erroneous C. And I know a lot of people was like, man, I said the same thing about Killer Mike. People were like, man, he was in what's the group with Outkast? Brother, I'm from the West Coast. I know the group that y'all was talking about. I forgot the name, but I remember Outkast. People were saying, yeah, he used to rap with Outkast. How you don't know Killer Mike? Like, bro, I know Outkast. I don't remember them shouting out Killer Mike's name in one of their songs. I don't remember that. Okay? But what I do know Killer Mike for is the way that he speaks. And I was introduced to him from the Brilliant Idiots podcast back in 2014 or 2015. That's when I first found out that he was actually a rapper. I heard him speak first. So Dungeon Family. Yeah, I heard of Dungeon Family, but I just don't remember. I didn't remember Killer Mike. But I found him as he was speaking on the podcast. And David Banner, I knew David Banner was a rapper, but listening to him speak has made me appreciate what he brings to these conversations even more. And he's very aware of the hell that black men get on social media because he just experienced it. And he's actually going to reference that here in a second. So let me see. Did I get that? Yeah, okay, cool. So let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
worthy of waiting on, then you can take it. You can take yourself wherever you're going. Because I know what I'm worth. What I do?
You dropped the mic, but you kept holding it.
Oh, thank you.
You dropped the mic, but you were still holding it.
But that's what happened when you're a rapper, though.
He said, well, you're a rapper, though, Tierra.
My name is John Gray. I'm on the way.
No, but seriously though, I wasn't ready. And the thing
was a rapper.
No, baby. I've never been a rapper. I'm a businessman that happens to be talented.
Damn right. Let me go ahead and correct you.
I never was a rapper. Be clear. Be clear.
And that's one of the first things that I remember about David Banner. He had like a great deal or something like that. He like either owned his masters or he was like some sort of independent, but he got that deal to where he got more money than the average rapper. You guys may know a little bit of history on this, but I just remember hearing David Banner and him being able to keep most of his money off the music that he made. Because this was around the time when they were doing, I don't know if they're still doing those 360 deals or whatever, where they would front the rappers a lot of money. They would go to these hotels and then they would get a big ass bill, you know, like, hey, so now you owe the company this. David Banner's deal was better than most. And I remember there was a whole thing surrounding that. I forgot what it was, but it was the same time. I think Tech Nine. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the rapper Tech Nine. He owns all of his. He used to print and press his own music and all types of stuff, man, to where he like got all his money back or something. So yeah, both of those rappers, I remember that. So let's continue.
What Jay say? I'm a businessman. but seriously, y'all, and like, ladies, what I tell you is that as much as people say that they believe in God, if you truly believe in forever, there is no time. There is no rushing. If I get with her now, when I'm 80, 90, we will have been together as if we were together since we were 18. But the thing that people don't talk about, they speak so negatively about Black men.
You hear that? He is very aware of what the hell is going on social media. Yeah, and that's why I'm here, man. We got to protect the Black male ethnic image. I refuse to let people talk down in my presence about Black men. If it's something that's crazy, not gonna happen. And y'all need to be the same way. He's aware, man, and that's good. He needs to understand what's going on out here.
I don't have no diseases. I don't have no children out of wedlock. I did not get a woman, put her in an expensive house and just leave her there. I knew what I didn't have the capacity to be. I wanted to be great, and I had to be selfish with my time and my talent, and people don't understand that.
He wasn't
people
ready.
Want a ready-made person. That's why I always say women who are patient,
He said people want a ready-made person. We know it. And shout out to Rich Cooper from Entrepreneurs in Cars. The first time I ever heard that, where he was saying women, you know, want to wait at the finish line and F the winners. That's essentially what David Banner is saying.
The Coretta Scott Kings, Malcolm's wife. Man, most of the time, Malcolm X's children said, you spent more time with my daddy than I did. Mm-hmm. So why would I put a woman through that? And from a mental standpoint, most of the stuff that we learned as men, it was lies and it was wrong.
Yeah, the stuff, and I mentioned this before about the, you know, shaming a man for being a virgin or not getting no cheeks when he young. Yeah, man, that's we got to get out of that mindset as Black men.
If the brain is the central processing unit, I always tell people that. When they deal with white people, I always tell them, if the brain is the central processing unit and there was a virus called nigger that was uploaded, and then the computer started freaking out, would you blame the computer or the programmer? The programmer. So it took me a long time, and I tell all of you who deal with depression, and I am not a therapist, so go talk to your therapist. Don't say David Banner told you. I'm telling you how it works in my life. Sometimes when you depressed, it's not really depression. It's you're breaking the programming that you've had your whole life. And so when you're freaking out, you're trying to get back used to what you know, what's easy to you. You know what I'm saying? And so it took me this long because I am a work in progress. And bro, I'm so proud of you because you said something that was so powerful. You will never get it right, ever, forever, if you truly believe in God. Because I thought about something in my life. God even had to show me what I thought was positive doesn't come before him. I thought the Black Power movement was that important, and I was putting it before God. Nothing on this planet goes before God, and God had to break me and show me even the things that I thought were positive, and I thought I was a good guy and doing the right thing and trying to save Mississippi and save the black folks from the evil white folks. I'm still.
You see that? Hey, David Banner, he telling you, man. I mean, hey. He's good, man. I like David Banner, man. Dante Bryant, too. That's what says. I love David Banner. That brother's cooking. Yeah, man. He just said, man. I told y'all, David Banner, the Black Power cause, and that's why you ain't really heard him speak directly like that anymore. He may have learned something, man. It's crazy.
Trying to do that, but it doesn't come before God, right? And I truly believe that if I continue working on myself, because I have to be honest with you ladies, I didn't love myself. So there is no way that I could have ever loved you. The wonderful thing about David Banner, I'm going to be all right with it without you.
Damn right. You hear what he say? I'm going to be all right with or without your ass. That's where y'all need to get, fellas. Make sure you good.
I want a wife, I want kids, but if I don't have them, I'm straight. And I am proud of the man that I am trying to become. And I'm even all right with my mistakes.
David Banner, whenever you get married, I want an invitation.
All right, man. That was actually great. Hey, it's a little bit more, on the show, but it goes into like a concert. The guys start singing, they start praying and stuff like that. So if you guys want to support Dear Future Wifey podcast, go watch the full video on his channel. You guys will see it up there. Shouts out to him and thank you to the panel for everybody that was up there and shared their experiences. So that was a good conversation. But yeah, David Banner, man, I that dude. If it was one person I would love to sit down with and talk to, it would definitely be David Banner. Another one will be Killer Mike, of course. So, a couple select few people here and there. But yeah, I think the brother, he means well and he's very educated. He understands what's going on, on the lower levels, so to speak, and on the higher levels. So yeah, I think this was good. So yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed that real quick, man. Hold on, let me see here. Ajax Man $5 just said, I still got my card at 26. I don't care what black men or women think. Stay out of my business. I'll lose my V card. Virgin. Okay. To a woman who deserves a period. Yeah, man. You good. I think you mentioned that before. Yeah, man. It's cool. Like I said, we were taught, my generation. You know what I'm saying? And it was one. I wish I had that clip. Guy went viral where he was saying his mom laughed at him after he didn't have sex with some girl or whatever. Like his uncle or his cousin came back and told the whole family, like, yeah, he didn't even get none or whatever. And his mom started laughing at him. That's how we were taught in my generation. Like, you need to lose your virginity as soon as possible. Okay. And if you didn't do that, then you was considered lame. That's a generational curse that we as black men have to break. Okay. So yeah, it's tough. HVAC Man 2000 just said, if not, the hands are rated E for everyone. Nah, man, it ain't gonna get to that point. I don't think nobody gonna press you and make you, get some booty, brother. So keep your hands to yourself, man. You gonna be all right. HVAC Man, you need to hit this. I think you'll be all right. Oh man. So yeah, and we actually got it here just in time so you guys can watch the Warriors Houston Rockets game. Should be a pretty good one. I'm gonna grab something to eat and we're gonna just relax and get ready for this weekend. So it's a lot going on. So hopefully you guys, are safe out there. It's currently raining outside. I actually was gonna go outside in the backyard. I had to put up some new mosquito netting around our patio. So I'm gonna go enjoy the rain and probably watch the game outside. That's yeah. If it ain't no bugs out there, I gotta treat it first because we got a woman in here that don't like bugs. So my wife. So yeah, so I'm gonna make sure they're good to go and we're gonna chill, man, for the rest of the night. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Next Friday, we'll have another link. I put the link out there if somebody want to come up. Hopefully I get the chance to interview some folks, but we'll definitely get into it. All right. So thank you to everybody that sent in super chats. Thank you to Mona and also Pooh Man for holding down the chat and all the other moderators. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank y'all on this Good Friday. I know this was an impromptu show, but just be prepared. Like I said, sometimes my work schedule, my full-time job, it doesn't coincide with content creation, but whenever I get a chance, I make this a priority. So if sometimes I'm inconsistent, it's because of the fact that I have a full-time job. So yeah, so I'm glad I was able to come up here. So I appreciate it, y'all. And let me see here. I wish I can get some David Banner music that wasn't copyrighted. I'll try and search for some. But yeah, we'll leave y'all with a little bit of Fast Car. Where is it? Cool. Here we go. So God bless. Be safe. Medium and out. Peace. Thank y'all.
A fast car. I wanted to get to anywhere. Maybe we can make it. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Started from zero and nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, I felt like I was strong. City lights laid out.